It's Wednesday morning, July the 7th, 2021, and it's a pleasure to be able to share some thoughts with you from God's eternal Word today. I'm Pastor Mike Custer, the pastor of Bible Baptist Church in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and we're going to be reading from Proverbs chapter 12, specifically verses 14 and 15 this morning for our morning devotion on this Wednesday, July the 7th. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 14 and 15 say this: "A man shall be blessed with good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hands shall be rendered unto him. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise." And the first verse, 14, talks about a person being satisfied by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of man's hands shall be rendered unto him. In other words, the law of sowing and reaping comes into discussion here. Whatever a person chooses, that's what they're going to end up with. And we cannot choose onions, for example, and end up with apples. You plant the wrong kinds of seeds and you'll end up with exactly that fruit, the wrong kind of fruit. And what we reap is what we sowed. And so we have some choices to make when it comes to how we're going to live our life. And then verse 15, "The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise." It's smart for us to think about what we're doing and the choices that we're making, and to even get godly counsel so that we don't make bad choices. And we could inadvertently even choose the wrong thing, and it could seem to be the right thing. And so that's what makes valuable counsel and godly counselors who could give us advice in areas that will strengthen and help our life. This same principle is given many, many times in the book of Proverbs. The Bible says that it's a way of safety. To seek counsel is to seek safety. And there's safety in the multitude of counselors. And so we make good choices after we've gotten good advice, and we're not so proud that we're unwilling to humble ourselves. And this can be a real problem with people seeking advice. "Well, don't you think I could figure things out?" Well, you probably could, but you might come to some wrong conclusions without getting good counsel. And if we're motivated by pride in the first place, we're not going to be making good and godly choices. And that kind of goes back to verse 14. "A man shall be satisfied, with good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hands shall be rendered unto him." Verse 15, "The way of a fool is right in his own eyes." He thinks he's making the right choice, but he will have to experience the foul crop if he sows bad seeds. He'll be the one to suffer for his bad choices. Just make good decisions and determine before you make a major decision that you've gotten godly counsel about it. And don't be afraid to humble yourself and act as though you don't know anything about the situation. You're just asking for an individual's advice, and sometimes we have to pray that way as well. We just have to say, "Lord, I'm foolish. I don't understand all the ramifications of this decision. Would you just guide my steps and help me to know what I ought to do?" The Lord's counsel, of course, is the most valuable of all. And seek God and seek godly wisdom. And don't be so set in a way of pride that you would be hindered from asking for somebody else's advice. Get good counsel. Make good choices. Choose godly directions. God bless you today.